Hello and welcome to our postgraduate diploma in entrepreneurship series of online information sessions. I'm Bonnie Soanes and I'm joined today by Simon Pratton and Ward Hills. Simon and Ward, can you tell us a little bit about yourselves and why you became mentors on this programme?
Well, for about the last 20 years, I've been involved with early stage and startup businesses in and around Cambridge, and I was a founding director of two startups myself, so I've got some scars on my back from that as well. And that gradually led me to working more and more in entrepreneurship. And then 10 years ago, I became involved here at the Judge Business School as a mentor and other roles with the various entrepreneurship programs they have here.
Ward?
Well, I've been in Cambridge for about 15 years now and running several small technology-based companies. And it really is always the team around a technology that makes it work and can communicate it out to the marketplace. So it's the people, the education, the growing of a young entrepreneur into a valuable staff member that we're interested in.
Growing the people, is that, Simon, what attracts you?
The people is, of course, it's almost a cliche now that the most important thing with a startup business or a growing business is the team, the people, rather than the product or service. So important.
So what role does the mentor play? Do you need any particular skills? And how does it differ from mentoring in other situations? Is there something different about mentoring on this programme?
I think one of the key things with this mentoring on this program is the support that we give to them, which is obviously the fundamental part of it, but it is the drawing together the skills, experience and knowledge of the wider group, the whole cohort, and within our individual mentor groups, which are usually 5 or 6 people, where we have the most wonderful cross-section of cultures, knowledge and experience. And if you sort of add up the years of experience in any group, it's pulling that together, it is drawing that out so they learn from each other.
Yes, when a student comes to the program, they typically have an idea for a business. And they're very much focused on that business, but they don't seem to realize very often that other businesses will have similar problems. So if we get the entrepreneurs talking back and forth between each other, they see that the problems they have, it may be in a different sector, maybe in a different product, are very similar to the problems somebody else has. And they can learn from each other's mistakes or each other's successes. So it's building a community around that supports the individual and the individual can contribute to.
And learning, Simon, is that a key word for you?
Absolutely. Learning between each other, the peer group learning, is really at the heart of one of the strengths and values of the postgraduate diploma.
Ward, now I know that the programme combines residential sessions and online learning with students drawn from, as you just said, across the globe. But how do you keep the mentoring momentum going during the online phases of the programme? It must be coming at you pretty fast.
It is, and keeping the momentum is not often been too much of a problem. We have one residential program in the autumn and another one in the spring, and it's really in those programs where the students get to interact face to face. Because they have a face with the name and the email address, when we then break out and do the online sessions as they go back to their homes around the world, everything becomes much more real. There's a depth to the communication that there wouldn't be if it was just online. So the momentum, in my experience, has been largely spontaneous. It's been people wanting to tell each other about what they've learned, and they solve this problem, or I don't know what to do next, what do I do? And somebody else chips in with an idea. So the momentum is a result of the enthusiasm really feeding off each other.
Is momentum a good word?
Momentum is the perfect word, but I think there's one bit I'd just add to, if I may, to what Ward has just said, and that is each individual, I certainly find, needs help and support and mentoring in slightly different ways. So to keep the momentum going with that individual as well as the cohesive group, because as you can imagine, with a group of 6, they are very different people from very different cultures, as I've already said, and this is so important, finding out what they need, drawing it out and helping them on this pathway.
Just as a matter of interest, is it competitive?
Not explicitly, no, but we all want to see our students do the best. And entrepreneurship is inherently I want to say not aggressive, but it is a competitive activity. You're always going to be trying to make your product or your offering look better to somebody else. And I have to say that probably bleeds someone into the mentoring groups also.
I think if I may, I think the very nature of entrepreneurship, it is a competitive sport.
Okay, well then, Simon, how do mentors help students with their enterprise project development? You know, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, what do you do?
Well, as I said just now, it's what the individual needs. I mean, for example, last year I had a student who was in his 40s, very experienced in business, and frankly, there was little that I could or needed to do for him. I was there as a sounding board if he wanted to bounce an idea off me, but mostly he was more than able, more than capable of looking after himself. But then this year I have somebody who has, in the early stages, found it really quite hard going. So it's helping them, the key thing is helping them translate the learning, the theory of entrepreneurship, which is what this is all about, and applying it to the practicalities of their project. And each one will require something different, but that, to my mind, is absolutely the heart of it. Getting to know them, building that relationship, finding out what they need and helping them do it.
Ward, are you involved with academic aspects of the programme, i.e. the assignments?
Not necessarily the assignments directly. We're focused very much on the enterprise project. So we're there to help the entrepreneur create the best business and really see the opportunities there, which is the enterprise project. That, of course, informs and is related to the academic program. We're in touch with the mentor or the tutors, but we don't have any direct influence on the academics.
Simon, do you mentor the student as an entrepreneur or the enterprise project as a startup venture? What comes first?
It's entirely the student, because as we touched on at the beginning, it is people that count. It is if you have a brilliant idea but a not very good group of people running it, it won't go anywhere, and the reverse applies. So it is entirely helping that person, support them in developing their idea, but with the focus on that, understanding their needs, understanding what they want. We never give advice, at least that's my own personal rule. Ward may have other ideas. You can't, I mean, occasionally you may have to, but you avoid that. It's drawing out what their knowledge and understanding is and helping them on that way. And sometimes, halfway through or a third of the way through the program, they decide that the idea they started out with or realize that hasn't got legs, it's not going to go anywhere. So that gets binned or changed and they start again. But nothing has been wasted. And that is a fabulous experience because they gain a huge amount from it.
And you help them pick up a new project?
Absolutely so.
Okay, can I throw these, sorry, Ward, you were?
No, I was just saying, and I think it's one of the great values of the program, is in the mentoring sessions, you can toss a lot of ideas out without having to waste a lot of research time on them. You can test them in a friendly environment. Also, because the ideas don't always go through, as Simon said, is the way the entrepreneur wants, you can get rid of a lot of the ideas that weren't strong, focus on the ones that are strong, and come out at the end of the year with a much, much better business proposition.
In terms of startup ventures, there seems to be an awful lot of different ventures from different sectors. Is that a plus?
I think that's one of the great strengths of this program is we have not just people from around the world, but also people from very, very different sectors. So we have people from, say, oil and gas and legal and high tech and services, and they have to explain the value of their ventures to people in other sectors with other vocabularies from other environments. And that forces somebody to boil down to the core value proposition and then communicate that to somebody else. And if you can do that to somebody else in a different sector with a different vocabulary, then you can do it very, very well to those people in your sector with your vocabulary. And you're a stronger communicator and you have a stronger venture because of it.
Just to build on that, that happens in a number of ways, but particularly during the residential here, particularly as well as other times, they meet a huge number of people from all environments here at the Judge Business School and have the opportunity to do that. But the other element of it is from right at the beginning, when they're in their small mentor groups, and we start on day one introducing them, they have to each other, they have to explain what their idea is to people who have not the faintest idea what it's all about. And so gradually they learn to do that, and it is such an important and a huge strength of the programme as a whole.
What do you enjoy most from being a mentor on the programme, and highlights from it? Should we start with Simon?
I touched on it earlier. I think it's this fantastic diversity of people. You've got the culture, the experience, the knowledge, all grouped together and sharing that. And that gives such a buzz, and that is what I really love about it. And the challenge for me personally is building that relationship, getting to know the group, finding out what they need, and every time it is different. And every time, most importantly, I find myself learning a huge amount from it in all sorts of ways, which of course for me is a fantastic stimulus.
Yeah, I think it's the diversity and the unbounded nature of the conversations we have. So I've had students from Malaysia, Canada, Costa Rica, a couple from the States, a couple from here in the UK, and from very, very different sectors. Everything from big oil and gas to law to very high tech. So I'm learning quite a bit about sectors that I've never dealt with before. So that's always it's absolutely fantastic. But I think what's really satisfying is the year or two after the program, because at that point the student has had a chance to go out into the world and test some of these ideas. And I'm still in contact with some of the students from my first cohort, and they've taken that skill set and actually turned that skill set into a different business.
So you keep up the relationship?
Yeah. Oh, very much so.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, well, it sounds remarkably exciting. Is it exciting?
Is exactly the word.
Simon and Ward, thank you very much indeed for talking to us about the postgraduate diploma in entrepreneurship mentoring programme, what you can expect from your mentor on the postgraduate diploma in entrepreneurship.